So let's talk about operationalizing your values into your business. And like I said in the beginning of the call, where I said, look, it's multifactorial. There's a million different ways that this can show up and that you might need to think about. I want to just talk about, I think, 4 key areas that you should be thinking about. So, ultimately you should be looking at all facets of your business, but I think these are 4 areas that are great to start with. That kind of 20-80 rule again, where 20% of your result hopefully is going to, or sorry, 20% of your effort is hopefully going to produce about 80% of your results. So we're going to talk about business metrics. We're going to talk about staff experience. We're going to talk about customer journey or customer experience, and we're going to talk about budget. So let's start with business metrics. So of note, I think there's a lot of different business models out there. So before we dive into this, there's a ton of different business models out there for climbing gyms. Some gyms are nonprofit. There's I know a gym in Ohio that's nonprofit, right? Some gyms are co-op or employee owned. Some gyms are bootstrapped and self-funded. Some gyms are funded by loans. Some have private equity or venture capital. So really consider your structure and your stakeholders when thinking through all of the metrics that we're going to discuss, but probably mostly business metrics. What I've tried to do today is put together, I think, recommended areas that really will probably work regardless of your quote unquote, your corporate structure, right? Whether you're nonprofit or for-profit or employee owned, all of these things should still apply. But just think about what your structure is or what it might be if you're on the call today hoping to start a gym. So let's talk about business metrics first for operationalizing your values. One area you can be thinking about is job responsibilities. So hopefully you're thinking about ways to metric somebody's job or metric somebody's performance in their role. And one thing to think about is, okay, we now have these values, right? Whether it's 3 or 5 or however many you've put together. Are there going to be any roles that are specifically responsible for shepherding those values? Are there any aspects of your business where you should say somebody needs to really own this and own this particular value or set of values? Something I say a lot is when everybody is accountable, nobody is. And so if you don't say to your general manager of your facility, hey, part of your job responsibilities are to make sure that this facility's business actions are aligned with our values, right? Some of the typical jobs that I know of in our industry that may be relevant to thinking about how do you build core values and core value metrics into their job responsibility. If you have a community manager, if you have customer service managers or customer service representatives, I think general managers or facility directors, I've seen that title in a bunch of different spots. Your HR department, obviously. These are just some of the spots that jump right out at me as where you should be thinking about, okay, these people really sort of touch my core values, and can I set up ways to make them directly responsible for ensuring that our values and our behavior are matching?